al-Bukhari 741. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger said, "You see me facing the Qibla, but, by Allah, nothing is hidden from me regarding your bowing and submissiveness, and I see you from behind my back." Sahih al-Bukhari 742. Narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet said, "Perform the bowing and the prostrations properly. By Allah, I see you from behind me, or from behind my back, when you bow or prostrate." Sahih al-Bukhari 743. Narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet, Abu Bakr and Umar used to start the prayer with Alhamdulillahi Rabbi al-Alamin, all praises but to Allah, Lord of the worlds. Sahih al-Bukhari 744. Narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger used to keep silent between the takbir and the recitation of Quran, and that interval of silence used to be a short one. I said to the Prophet, "May my parents be sacrificed for you. What do you say in the pause between takbir and recitation?" The Prophet said, "I say,
اللهم باعد بيني وبين خطاياي كما باعدت بين المشرق والمغرب. اللهم نقني من الخطايا كما ينقى الثوب الأبيض من الدنس. اللهم اغسل خطاياي بالماء والثلج والبرد.
O Allah, set me apart from my sins, faults, as the east and west are set apart from each other, and clean me from sins as a white garment is cleaned of dirt, after thorough washing. O Allah, wash off my sins with water, snow, and hail. Sahih al-Bukhari 745. Narrated Asma bint Abi Bakr. The Prophet once offered the eclipse prayer. He stood for a long time and then did a prolonged bowing. He stood up straight again and kept on standing for a long time, then bowed a long bowing and then stood up straight and then prostrated a prolonged prostration and then lifted his head and prostrated a prolonged prostration. And then he stood up for a long time and then did a prolonged bowing and then stood up straight again and kept on standing for a long time. Then he bowed a long bowing and then stood up straight and then prostrated a prolonged prostration and then lifted his head and went for a prolonged prostration. On completion of the prayer, he said, "Paradise became as near to me that if I had dared, I would have plucked one of its bunches for you, and hell became so near to me that said, O my Lord, will I be among those people?" Then suddenly I saw a woman and a cat was lacerating her with its claws. On inquiring, it was said that the woman had imprisoned the cat till it died of starvation, and she neither fed it nor freed it so that it could feed itself. Sahih al-Bukhari 746. Narrated Abu Mamar. We asked Kababab whether Allah's Messenger used to recite the Quran in the Zuhr and the Asr prayers. He replied in the affirmative. We said, "How did you come to know about it?" He said, "By the movement of his beard." Sahih al-Bukhari 747. Narrated al-Bara. And al-Bara was not a liar. Whenever we offered prayer with the Prophet, and he raised his head from the bowing, we used to remain standing till we saw him prostrating. Sahih al-Bukhari 748. Narrated Abdullah bin Abbas. One solar eclipse occurred during the lifetime of Allah's Messenger. He offered the eclipse prayer. His companions asked, "O Allah's Messenger, we saw you trying to take something while standing at your place, and then we saw you retreating." The Prophet said, "I was shown paradise and wanted to have a bunch of fruit from it. Had I taken it, you would have eaten from it as long as the world remains." Sahih al-Bukhari 749. Narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet led us in prayer and then went up to the pulpit and beckoned with both hands towards the Qibla of the mosque and then said, "When I started leading you in prayer, I saw the display of paradise and hell on the wall of the mosque, facing the Qibla. I never saw good and bad as I have seen today." He repeated the last statement thrice. Sahih al-Bukhari 750. Narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet said, "What is wrong with those people who look towards the sky during the prayer?" His talk grew stern while delivering this speech, and he said, "They should stop looking towards the sky during the prayer, otherwise their eyesight would be taken away."